Vancouver Public Schools shows off the latest in educational technology, presented by the brightest students and teachers in town. Today on Snapshot. Hello, I'm Elena Buller. Vancouver Public Schools is in the midst of a technological transformation. In 3 special events, it's giving the community a chance to see what's happening in the classroom. Let's learn more about weLearn in our Snapshot. weLearn is the district's vision for giving students the latest technology to prepare them for college, careers, and life. This initiative was given a boost from voters who last year approved a 6-year tech levy, which is helping pay for devices and training. Today we're headed to 3 locations for the annual weLearn Tech Shows, and we have a correspondent at each site. Mark Ray is at Alki Middle School. Amanda Richter checks in from McLaughlin Middle School, but first, student correspondent Amy Rushforth is standing by at Vancouver iTech Preparatory, where the robots are taking over. Amy?
This is Justin, a freshman at Skyview, and he has a friend to introduce us to.
And that is the Clawbot, which is able to pick up tennis balls from a pedestal.
So you say that you're involved in your school's robotics class?
Mm-hmm, first period.
And what do you do in that class?
You get to build robots and program them.
So you seem to have a lot of fun with this robot. Is this fun?
Mm-hmm, it's a lot of fun.
How about you show me how you put that ball back on the pedestal?
That's going to be hard. You want to try this?
I would love to. Want to trade?
Sure.
Okay. All right, so tell me how this works.
So to make it go forward, you move both the joysticks forward. To make it go backwards, move both of them backwards. So yeah. Then that's to turn right, and then that's the other way to turn left.
Well, thank you, Justin, for introducing us to your friend.
You're welcome.
Here I am with Thomas, who's going to share the other half of robotics, which has a lot to do with coding. Thomas, what is coding?
So coding is a process of taking simple statements like if or when or while and using those to construct a file that then gets transferred to anything, just in general. But the purpose of coding is to interact with machines, so electronics.
So how do you do that with this robot right here?
So we use a program, this actual course uses VEX Robotics. And VEX Robotics uses a program called Objective-C. It has some robotic-specific functions in it. But the process basically involves, A, understanding what it is that you need to type to make it do stuff. So if I press this button, make the arm raise, or something to that extent. In this particular case, I have a controller here, and I can make this thing go up and down or drive all over the place.
Well, thank you for making that connection to us.
Thanks, Amy. A big part of the weLearn initiative is a one-to-one program, which puts a device in the hands for every student for use at home and school. For middle schoolers, that device is an iPad. Let's go to Mark Ray at Alki, who has more on how they're being used. Mark?
I'm here with Matt Greco. And Matt, can you tell us a little bit about what's happening in your classroom this evening?
Tonight in the weLearn, my students are using multiple apps for history. They're working on the idea of manifest destiny between 1800 and 1860. Some students are working with students from home at the moment as representing absent students, and those students are contributing ideas on what they need to do for the project to get this idea presented to the class in a presentation.
So what are some of the apps that you're using tonight? I think you're using a learning management system, is that correct?
Yes, the students are, the assignment and the discussions online are being done through Canvas, the LMS program. Other than that, they're using GoodNotes, iMovie, Puppet Pals, and I believe Piccollage for some of them.
So how do you or the students choose which app to use for which task?
In the end, I usually have a stated objective, and whatever app they feel best suited for their own personal needs to get that across, it's fine. A lot of them tend to use iMovie because they're very familiar with it and they're comfortable with that whole idea. Those that kind of just stray away may stick to something more simpler as Keynote because they want it structured and straightforward. But then their roommates will say, no, that's not entertaining enough for the rest of us, and they want to spice it up a little bit.
So student choice then, you've really introduced some more student choice then in what kids can use to demonstrate their learning?
They have, as long as, again, if they have the goal, the objective, and that's what they're being graded on. If the end result's a different project, that's fine, as long as that information is being taken care of.
Thank you very much.
I'm here with Miles, Jamil, and Marco, who are going to talk about some of their favorite apps and tell us about how they're using their iPads to study history.
Well, like in history, most of the things that we do are like our teacher uploads it onto like WebDev. Like for instance, like we have this thing, it's called Good Notes, where you can you go onto WebDev, which is another app, and you download what he put on there, and then you put it into Good Notes, and you can automatically write on there and everything.
You can take tests on the iPad, and as you answer each question, when you press next, it will tell you on the top of the screen if you got it wrong or right, and it's easier than a normal notebook or pen or pencil or pen and paper.
Does it help you to have that automatic feedback?
Yeah.
How come?
Cause like if you get one right, it makes you feel good and like more confident, like you're gonna get the next one right. Rather than like pen and paper, like you don't really know if you really got it right or not.
So it's good to have that immediate feedback.
If you get it wrong, it makes you real mad.
It's also easier on the teachers because like once you're done with it, you just hit finish quiz and it automatically submits it as a grade. Like he doesn't really have to do anything except for upload it to the grade book so that we can see it. So it's easier.
So what would you guys say to an incoming 6th grader who's a little nervous about using an iPad?
I would say like, usually your teachers will just they usually tell you what to do, like the first couple of times, whatever, and then like with anything else, like you just start getting the hang of it. So just stick it out. It might be hard at first, but not for everybody because some people have iPads already. So it's just one of those things.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. The world of computer coding is historically dominated by men, but that's changing, and Amy joins us now with more.
I am here with Haley and Cece, and they want to share a little bit about what they've learned about programming. Haley, what have you learned about programming through what you're doing here?
Well, I've learned what programming is used for and the different ways you can use it and how important it is to get the things right that we are doing.
Cece, what have you learned about programming?
I've learned about programming is that it's fun and you can go on the computer and create something that you want to create something fun to play with, and you can make whatever you want actually.
So I see you have a computer in front of you. Do you want to explain a little bit about what's on this computer?
Sure. So here's a video that I made a while ago, and so all my programming is here, and so it starts here, and so when you click right here it shows all the things, and so a lot of the reactions to what happens are around here. So here's the video. I made this in the summer when I first went to Scratch Camp, and to me it was really easy to learn how to do it, but it was also pretty hard to edit and figure it out and make it right.
So I do see your t-shirt that says Scratch Camp. When was the first time you went to camp?
It was late August of last summer.
What did you learn there? Did you learn about this programming that you're doing right now?
Yeah, I learned a lot about the program and how to use it and what to do with it.
So is it just girls that do Scratch Camp and this programming?
Yeah, because it's girls because a lot of the time technology is associated with boys because it's more their thing, but what Ms. Hagan thought was that girls should be able to do it so they get an opportunity to be in the spotlight for technology.
Do you think girls are as good as technology as boys are?
Well, I think so too if they actually practice and know how to do it when they do it. So they can be as good as boys if they actually practice and understand and listen to the teacher and know how to do it.
Well, you guys are clearly two smart girls, and I look forward to see what you guys create next time. Okay? Thank you.
The technological revolution isn't just for kids. Parents can get into the act with the district's new mobile app. Joining me to talk about it is Pat Madison, the district's communication director. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So why does the school district need an app?
The school district is always looking for ways to communicate with parents, and this is another way that we can have parents be more engaged in their child's education.
And that's the whole point, just getting engaged and
Yes, getting engaged. The mobile app, we know that parents are busy, and so the mobile app just gives them anytime, anywhere access to their students' information. They can look at grades, they can look at attendance, they can look at school activities and events, and they can even check the school lunch menu.
And there can be communication barriers with parents too, and this app is going to actually help that. Can you kind of explain how that's going to work?
It will. We have a lot of families for whom English is a second language, and so this app has a great feature where it translates into 70 different languages.
Well, that's pretty amazing. Okay, so let's have a little demonstration about what this app can do and make things easier for parents.
Okay, well, you can get district news, which comes from our website and also from our social media feeds, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. You can also, parents can follow their schools on the calendar feature, so you can go to the calendar, choose your child's school. You can even color code the calendars for each. If you have 3 kids in 3 different schools, it helps you sort out
highlight and go right to that school.
Right, get all of those and just in one place, right at your fingertips.
And the calendars show things like what's going on in the school, what the school's serving for lunch.
The calendar does show all of the school activities, holidays, late starts, early releases, parent conferences, anything that's happening at the school. We do have another feature on the app that has school lunch menus, and so parents can access a lunch menu every day for the elementary schools on the app. The other thing it does is it has a directory of all of our schools, and so you can choose which schools, if you need a map or a phone number for a school, or you want to email a teacher, you can do that through the directory.
And why is an app a little bit easier maybe than just going to the website and doing this kind of stuff?
Well, our website has, of course, a lot more information, but it's not readily accessible on a mobile device. Our website is not scalable, easily scalable for a mobile device.
So it's harder for people who maybe have a smartphone but not a computer at home. This will make it easier for those people.
This helps a lot of our families, and maybe up to 20% of our families don't have internet connection at home. And their smartphone is their only internet connection. So this helps those parents tremendously.
Great. And let's talk about that, the language function. You can actually switch the languages quite easily.
You can go to the settings menu, and it has a section there that you can select a language, and you can choose from more than 70 languages. We have a lot of parents who speak Spanish, and actually we have parents who speak 53 different languages. So this will help those parents because once you choose the language that you want to follow, I'll pick Spanish and go back, and then everything in the app is translated into Spanish.
That's pretty awesome. So how do you think this is going to help parents in general?
We think that more and more, and as time goes on, that people are increasingly engaged with their digital devices, and that the old paper newsletter that comes home from the school district, while we'll continue to use those, they're hard to find when you need to remember
where did I put that?
So we think that this, because people walk around with their smartphones, they're busy, they have a busy schedule, they aren't always at home to locate the things they need. Most people have their phones with them all the time, so this we think will help.
Cool. And how many downloads have you guys had so far, do you know?
We have had 1,550 downloads since we launched the app 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. And what are your future plans for the app? Are you guys constantly changing and updating? Or?
We won't constantly change it. It will be updated, and we are planning a second phase of the launch that will include more school-specific news.
Okay.
So it will be, imagine it like a school newsletter in your phone.
But not changing it too much so people are like, what happened? Where's my stuff?
No, we think it'll still be very easy to use.
Okay, well, Pat, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
To download the free Vancouver Public Schools app, just go to the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. Do a search for Vancouver Public Schools and the app will pop up. It's very easy. You can also learn more about it and see video tutorials on the district's website, www.vansd.org. Let's get back out there. Amy is standing by with a student who has technology at his fingertips, literally.
I'm here with Connor, who is a sophomore at iTech, and he is here to tell us a little bit more about his technology, Leap Motion. Connor, why don't you tell me a little bit about what this technology is?
Okay, so the Leap Motion is a hand tracking device. It's basically made so that you can interact with your computer hands-free, just like the Kinect for Xbox 360. Leap Motion, it tracks up to 10 fingers. It can track whatever it can see. So if I put my hand in here, you could see that it will track all 5 fingers, no matter how I move them. I could even put in another 10, or 5, and I could track all 10 fingers with very precise accuracy.
So how did you get started in all of this technology?
Well, I started when my mom told me about how she saw this device on the news, and I got very interested, of course, because I plan to go into computer programming. So I went to their website, and they had a dev opening on their website, and so I signed up, and about a month later, I was accepted to be a dev, and they sent me this device, and so I started programming then.
So what have you learned using this device?
Well, I've learned that programming is, one, very difficult, so reaching my dream will be that much harder. And I have also learned a few things about programming. I've started to pursue it a little bit more.
So why don't you go ahead and show us a little bit of what this device can do?
Okay, well, so as I showed before, I can track 10 fingers, and it's 1/100th of a centimeter accuracy. And not only can I use this program, but I can go to Google Earth, which I think is a great way to show just how hands-free it is and how you can really interact with what you have. And so here I am. I'm now navigating the Earth using only my hand. So here I'll come in here to Washington. I'll try to center us in on Vancouver. Where are we? There we are. So here I am, right above Vancouver, and I just came from space to Vancouver using only my hand.
So how much do you think that this technology is going to be able to benefit students in the classroom or just in general?
Well, being able to, touch something without actually having it or having to go and 3D print it, I think is one great way to be able to see like how it would work or how it would look from all angles. And it gives you that hands-on experience that you would if you actually had it.
And what is the future you hope to see with this technology?
I'd like to see it implemented into computers like laptops, which they're starting to do with HP, and just being able to make it even more so it's more than just 10 fingers, but maybe your whole body even. Just eventually being able to be inside the computer and interact with what you love.
All right, well, thank you, Connor, for sharing that with us. Seems like you're really excited about what you have going here.
Thanks, Amy. Let's head back out to Mac, where Amanda is standing by. Amanda?
When you think about iPads, one of the most natural applications is probably for reading and writing. Teacher Monica Huey is going to tell us about her students using iPads for novel studies.
Yes, we love literature in our class, and I know that a lot of times we have all these standards that we're trying to go after and all these tests that we have to show growth on. And sometimes we forget that really one of the major things about reading and writing is if you're passionate about it and if you love it, then you're going to be able to apply it better as well. So what I really try to foster in my 6th grade classroom is a love and a passion for literature, an understanding that we can be authors too, that the more time we spend with an author, we can understand the structure, the technique, what that person put, the thinking, the intentionality that went into writing that book. And then if you can be part of that secret world and learn some of those structures as well, that will empower you as a writer for the future.
So would it be fair to say that the iPad is helping them learn the subject better, or at least be able to articulate it better?
I think so, and I think that it prepares them to be students of the future, because a lot of the schooling they're going to have to go through in their future careers, they're going to have to collaborate, they're going to have to put some thought into final presentations, they're going to have to be able to come up and present their view of the world in a unique, creative way, and I think that this is really giving them a lot of practice.
So Emma, tell us about some of the apps you're using.
Well, first I use WebDAV, which is where we turn in most of our projects and assignments for the next day or for like a long-term project. GoodNotes is another app that we use. I use mainly in science for doing assignments, doing homework, and just sometimes we just use it for fun.
So what do you like about using iPads?
I think personally it makes it school easier. We can turn in our homework, we can do our homework on it, bring it home, bring it back, and it also does make your
load lighter in your backpack, so you don't have to carry tons of like textbooks and stuff.
Is it hard to remember to bring it back to school and take it home?
Well, sometimes, because sometimes you charge it and you leave it, but overall it's not that big of a struggle for me, but I know it is for some people.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda. The technology push in Vancouver Public Schools comes from its leadership, both the school board and the superintendent. Mark is standing by with Dr. Steve Webb. Mark?
Dr. Webb, can you tell us some of the points of pride that you're seeing in this early adoption of one-to-one in Vancouver Public Schools?
Yeah, I think student engagement clearly is a point of pride. It's obvious that students are taking ownership in their learning. They feel a personal passion and a clear voice around what it is that they're engaged in and how these digital learning resources are really empowering them in new and different ways. I think another point of pride is really this whole notion of a professional learning community and the way in which our faculty and staff are supporting one another as they embark on this journey together. And the really cool piece is the way in which staff and students are learning together. And the role of who is learner and who is teaching is shifting in some ways, and in some classrooms, I think that's really cool.
So you've been going to the classrooms, talking with the teachers and talking with the students. What are you hearing and seeing from the students here at Alki and through the district in the one-to-one classrooms?
You know, I think it's pretty evidence that there's joy in the way in which students talk about their learning experiences and a sense of pride. And that's about ownership, it's about empowerment, and if students have pride and feel empowered and their learning experiences are joyful and they're engaged, we know with certainty that they're more likely to achieve learning standards, and if they're more likely to achieve learning standards, they're more likely to get across the finish line and be prepared for the world of work and post-secondary education.
Well, thank you. We've been talking with Dr. Stephen Webb, Superintendent of the Vancouver Public Schools, here at the Alki Technology Showcase. Thank you.
Let's head back out to Mac, where Amanda Richter has students who are thinking about their future.
Can an iPad help kids figure out what kind of career they might want to pursue? I'm here with counselor Natasha Medina, who's going to give us the answer. Natasha, tell us a little bit about how career cruising works.
So career cruising is a district program. It's actually an online portfolio that kids do activities each year, starting in 6th grade all the way to 12th grade.
Can you talk a little bit more about some of the specific information that they're putting into the system?
Yeah, as 6th graders, they have to put in a bunch of different activities and experiences. So they're inputting any extracurricular activities they've done, they're inputting hobbies and interests, any skills that they have, and then any awards that they've ever received.
And what are some of the things that you're putting in your portfolio?
For 6th grade, we have extracurricular activities, hobbies and interests, awards, and then we also have skills and abilities.
So I know it hasn't suggested a certain type of job for you yet, but what are you interested in?
I don't know yet. I'm stuck between the medical profession or it's just a long way to go before I can decide.
Yeah, you've got a lot of time. All right, thank you.
Thanks. Let's take a look at how technology can help artists. Our student correspondent Amy is at iTech Prep with more.
I am here with James, and he is going to tell us a little bit about his fancy technology.
Hi, so I've got this doohickey here called the Bamboo Pen Tablet, and what it allows me to do is it is a pen that is wirelessly connected to this tablet, and it allows me to draw virtually onto software. So it controls the mouse, and it has two little buttons on here that can control the right click and the scroll wheel click. So when you touch the pen to the tablet, it will click on the screen, and so it will allow you to draw on programs like Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator, stuff like that. And so you can draw sketches, any kind of art, and it really helps out in the classroom.
All right, James, why don't you go ahead and show us a little bit of what this device can do?
All right, so as you can see, you can draw just you sketch lines, and it allows the brush tool on programs like Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator to work a lot more naturally. And so right now I'm tracing my school's logo. And I'm not the most exceptional artist, but as you can see, it's allowing me to get curved lines and more precise detail than I can with a mouse. And I can also press these two buttons right here. It does a right click, so I can change the size of my brush and the hardness of my brush on the fly. And I just go back to here and I can keep drawing. And so yeah, it really makes the process a lot more natural.
So this technology essentially is replacing pen and paper. Do you think you enjoy that more, or why or not?
I definitely enjoy it a lot more than pen and paper, just because it allows me to keep everything organized, neat, and because I cannot organize my papers successfully. So it allows me to organize them, and I can share them a lot easily too, and submit them to my teachers and everything like that.
That's very convenient. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
The weLearn tech shows are starting to die down, but before we're done, Mark Ray tracked down some teachers attending the shows to get their reaction about what they've seen. Mark?
I'm here with some teachers here at Alki Middle School, as well as some others around the district. So I'm just going to go around really quickly. Can you introduce yourself real quickly?
I'm Carolyn Connors, the teacher.
Katie Dunfield.
Paula Woodruff.
And Rob Harsh.
Okay, and so Carolyn, you are here, this is your classroom. Can you tell us a little bit about what students are doing with the iPads this evening?
Yes, they're using Book Creator to kind of show a recap of everything that they've done and how iPad has changed their learning this year, and all of the different tools that they've used, apps that they've used to enhance their learning in a variety of areas. For example, communication or collaboration or organization.
And you ladies are here trying to learn something more about iPads. So what are some of the things that you've been seeing and hearing from students?
Well, the students' engagement has just been so apparent. We've seen time and time again how they are doing some of the same things that used to be paper and pencil, and now they're able to take them technologically. One of my former students is here, and she shared with me her insight that it really helps her organization, and I hadn't thought about that as a tool where she doesn't have to worry about lost papers. She's absent. Another student can email her notes. So it's really an exciting tool. And then we actually had a question for the teacher about how she gets feedback from her students, because that's what we're concerned about in our own classroom, is how do we get that quick feedback to know are our students understanding. So that's what she was sharing with us, is how the iPads can help her with that.
And what have you learned this evening? Have you seen anything that's just blown you away?
I'm just excited to see how excited the kids are. I mean, they are so excited with these presentations and things that they're creating, and I'm impressed with how well the students are able to show us what they're learning with the tools that they're using. I mean, they're so far from where we were at that age, definitely.
And Rob, you have kind of a little hand in some of the successes here. You were here part of the Alki staff, and now you're working at the district level as an instructional technology facilitator. So what are some of the things that make you most excited about the iPads, either here at Alki or in the district?
For me, it's been great to take what I've done in the classroom and apply it to this new position, and then also to take lessons and ideas and maybe shoot ideas out to my colleagues and say, hey, here's an idea. Would you be willing to try this?
And if you haven't had enough just yet, the VPS TV studio has a full archive of stories on educational technology on its YouTube page. Time now for our Snapshot flashback, and we're going all the way back to 1983. That's when Vancouver Public Schools installed its first ever computer lab. It's hard to believe that was more than 30 years ago. Let's compare those computers to today's smartphones. An iPhone computes about 100 times faster than those desktop units and has about 4,000 times more memory.
If you want to learn more about the school district's history, head to vansd.org. You'll find an historical timeline link on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. You can flip through photos and historical highlights.
Thanks for joining us on today's Snapshot. I'm Elena Buller. We'll see you next time.